former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration and author of the briefing book on Substack. Joel, great to see you. So, this relationship between President Trump and Putin, it seems to be deteriorating. This is what the president said just the other day. We have a clip here.
A lot of people are dying, and it should end. And I don't know, we get a lot of thrown at us by Putin for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
So last year, he told a crowd he would bomb Moscow. A year later, President Trump seemed confident he could bring an end to this war rather quickly. What's your read, Joel, on the reaction to the new hostilities first, and then also this change of tone from President Trump as well?
Yeah, Kelly, it's great to be with you. And this is a very welcome change in tone. I hope that the president means it and means what he says, because, frankly, we're in a weaker position now vis-a-vis Russia than we were when he took office nearly 6 months ago. The sanctions are weakening. There have not been any new ones, and that means that over time they've diminished in their value. We withheld weapons and defensive weapons from Ukraine just this past week. Our allies don't know really where we're heading. So this language, it matters. Hopefully it will show that peace through strength, as the president likes to say, is actually his new policy on Russia.
Yeah, I want to talk about these arms shipments as well. But, Joel, what pressure can the administration put on Putin to get back to the negotiating table? So many have suggested economic pressure. What's your read on squeezing the country in that area? Could it drive the intended results here?
Yeah, Kelly, look, there's a variety of tools available to the president, and they're really at his discretion. Clearly, the military pressure, as we've been discussing, he controls the pipeline of the flow of weapons and munitions, defensive systems as well that we send to Ukraine. Then there are the sanctions, and the enforcement is under his purview. He could also ask Congress to do more. And, of course, we have all of our allies in NATO and elsewhere that he could be coordinating with diplomatically. And I couldn't help but feel for Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, when he was out there meeting with Sergei Lavrov one-on-one. First of all, Rubio is a Russia hawk. He always has been. This has to be difficult for him to sit there at that table. But second, it was him alone. This should not just be the United States alone. This is also a European problem. The president's base understands this, but it's not Europe or the U.S. It's Europe and the U.S. to get the point across to Russia that he cannot win territorially, he cannot take over, and he needs to curtail this war.
Yeah. The president said this week that arms shipments will continue to Ukraine, although he insists he doesn't know who made the call to stop them in the first place. Do you think he's trying to play both sides of this? We know that sending these arms isn't exactly popular with his base, the MAGA base, that is.
Yeah, Kelly, there's basically two explanations. Either he doesn't know what's going on inside his own national security infrastructure at the Pentagon, which would be very concerning, or he is trying to sort of hope that it is not noticed. And clearly this was noticed. He should not be playing games with military aid. He withheld aid time and again over the past 6 months. He's threatened it. It creates uncertainty for Ukraine. It gives Vladimir Putin more confidence that he has the lead. And this is the key point, is that the president needs to flip the frame on Putin. Right now, Putin believes he has the advantage and all of the lead, all the pressure he can put onto the United States. That needs to be flipped. Peace through strength is what needs to happen. And that means predictability as well in our military support.
What do you think is Putin's end goal? Do you think peace with him in power is even possible?
I hate to say that his end goal is as dark as I fear, but it is conquest of Ukraine ultimately, and potentially upending and just frankly dismantling NATO and going into other countries in Eastern Europe. And that's why it's so important to hold on Ukraine, because if Ukraine falls, other countries, NATO allies of ours, Lithuania, and countries that Russia in the past during the Soviet Union had control over, they will be next. And that's not going to go away for us. So the threat is real, and it's now. And Putin needs to know that there is a hard line preventing him from achieving those goals. And that's really, at this stage, the best we can hope for.
All right, Joel Rubin, always great to get your perspective, sir. Thank you.